A parent asked, "Is my child's anger normal?" Understanding children can be difficult. I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach parenting all over the world through the lens of the principle self-government. And in this video, we're going into anger. What's normal? What's not? And what do we do with it? In this video, I'm going to share a story from my life and then talk about what is normal for anger and what isn't, and then what we can do about that. This channel is all about self-government. Self-government is being able to determine the cause and effect of any given situation and possessing a knowledge of your own behaviors so that you can control them. Well, I wasn't always self-governed. In fact, there was a time when I was kind of emotional. I got angry at my parents a lot. I was frustrated. Why did it happen? Well, because I didn't feel like they understood. For a long time, when I was young, my parents called me a peacemaker. Suddenly, I hit my adolescent years, and it's like a light switch. I'm suddenly angry, moody, talking back, disrespectful, ignoring, isolating, just being miserable to be with. My poor parents probably wondered if I would even turn out to be okay. The thing is, I actually knew that I was having a problem. My biggest problem was I didn't have a good connection with my parents. I was hiding things from them because I was a bit of a liar at the time, and so I didn't want to open up fully to them about my life. Had I been more open with my parents, I probably wouldn't have put up so many walls. But my parents also seemed to me to be a little bit rigid, and so I didn't think that they would understand what was happening in my own head, where I was coming from, and what I wanted. Basically, I was misunderstood, or at least I saw myself as misunderstood. Many people, when they experience anger, are actually just crying out for, "Please understand me, listen to me." That's one of the top reasons that people choose to give into their feelings of anger. They just don't know another way to get your attention. So how much anger is normal? I think my parents probably wondered when I was in my teen years if my anger levels were normal or not. But I will say I never was angry with anyone more than once every couple of days. So that would actually be considered fairly normal. If you have a child that goes from just fine to angry within seconds, and it happens like 3 or more times a day, then that could be considered not normal. You might actually be wanting to look at some other things there, like, do we have ADHD we're working with, or something like that? Maybe there's a processing thing that we need to be understanding about. To be fair, even though it's more difficult for a person with ADHD to find themselves calm and controlling their impulses for anger, it is possible. I've seen it firsthand as I did therapeutic treatment care with a lot of children for multiple years. It just takes a little bit more patience, a little bit more time as you navigate through the anger and trying to help them identify and analyze what's going on. Everyone experiences anger. It's part of being a human. It's a great reminder that we need to talk about things more openly instead of just try to emotionally control our environment around us. And even though we all experience anger, we also have to learn what to do with it. So as your children have moments of anger, talk with them about the anger. Talk with them about what started this anger. So your emotion right now is anger, but did you know you had a feeling and then a thought before you had this emotion? What was the feeling you had? Was it frustration? Was it worry? What was it, sadness? What led to the anger? Because after you experienced worry or fear, you had a thought. Did the thought move you in a positive and productive direction, or did it move you in a non-productive direction? Well, if you ended up blowing up at somebody and getting angry at someone, it could be that it moved you in a non-productive direction. So then you might have to talk about why and how anger serves us and how it doesn't, and what are productive emotions and non-productive emotions. Once your children have a good understanding of what's going on the inside of them, then you can set up some guardrails so that they can try to keep themselves a little bit on track with their goals. So in the Teaching Self-Government Parenting program, we teach skills. I teach children 4 basic skills. They are following instructions, accepting no answers and criticism, accepting consequences, and disagreeing appropriately. So these 4 basic skills actually can help with anger. If your child learns that they need to be able to give themselves a no answer when they're starting to feel anger, that's very empowering actually. When they feel a feeling of frustration, they can stop themselves and say, wait, that's frustration. Just that identifying statement within their own head can change everything. And then they can say, this must mean I need to talk to somebody about whatever is frustrating me. So they give themselves a no answer to anger, and then they give themselves an instruction to go and talk to somebody about the situation. Now, as parents, we have to make sure that we're always open for these discussions. Obviously, the discussions are not meant to get a child out of corrections or teaching moments. They are just to help the child feel understood and so that you truly do understand how to help the child best. But the child can learn with diligent practice how to analyze what is going on inside of them so that they don't have to have as many angry episodes anymore. It could be that you want to set a positive motivation for identifying anger and not acting on it. That could be very empowering. Okay, right now I'm feeling frustration or I'm feeling anger, but I'm going to tell myself that's anger. That means I need to go and talk to somebody about this. That could be something that could earn them a positive consequence. So don't forget, as you're correcting a child for when things go wrong so that they learn cause and effect, that you are also giving them good positive feedback when things go well. This will help them be able to analyze what they can do to make that feeling of anger productive instead of non-productive. When you teach children the skills of self-government, that creates a very predictable environment. Predictability is really important for decreasing anxiety. Anxiety is another one of those things that can lead to heightened anger. Because anxiety is basically a state of stressing or worrying. The chemicals in the brain change and can end up leading the brain processing back to back brain quite quickly. What you want to do is make sure that you help your children learn how and when to use those skills. So pre-teach all of the 4 basic skills ahead of time to your children, and then teach them how you will correct them and how you will praise them also ahead of time. Then follow through consistently with the teaching so that then the child gets the opportunity to analyze what's going on. It's also a very good idea to have checkup times with your child. Each week in our family, we have what's called mentor meetings. The mentor meetings are times when the parent mentors the child in a one-on-one meeting, or maybe 2-on-1, 2 parents, 1 child. And they talk about the goals that the child has or how the child is progressing with their behaviors, their academics, their social goals, their spiritual goals, everything related to the child. If you go to teachingselfgovernment.com, you'll see that we have these mentoring journals. These mentoring journals are places where you can mark down what your child is working on. Your child can even look at it at a regular basis. They can set goals and follow through with their goals. Super empowering. These meetings let my children know how much we really cared and valued our time with them. And it helped them take steps toward independent living. We don't need to be held captive by feelings of anger. We can just accept, okay, everyone's going to experience anger sometime. Let's not be afraid of it. Let's know what to do with it. Wise parents take the time to work on that. I've barely scratched the surface today, and so I would like to suggest that for the next video that you watch a full-length class about self-government and the principles and skills of self-government that you can teach your children. It's called The Not-So-Known Secret for Parenting Success. Click on the link to that video next, and you will learn a lot more to help with anger management.